Hey there, everyone, and welcome to the podcast, Business Success by Design. I'm your host, James Lawson. This is the podcast for small business owners who are tired of spinning their wheels, ready to grow in a smarter, more sustainable way. So listen, the subject of this episode, bad marketing advice. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the tips, the tricks, tactics that you've picked up with some random dude or guru, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it might be. And rather than actually helping you out, you're actually more confused, overwhelmed, and broke more than before. All right, we're going to try and fix it. I'm not saying we will fix it. I'm going to try and fix it for you. It's really simple. And join me in a few seconds.
Welcome to the Business Success by Design podcast, where you'll learn everything you need to know about building a thriving business. This isn't theory. It's hardcore strategies and tactics designed to help you win. Join us as top business coaches, marketers, and business insiders pull back the curtain on what really works in building the business you want and what's just complete BS. And now, sit back and listen to rockstar host James Lawson, he's the one with a funny accent, and Angela Inzerillo as they go deep, cut through the crap, and get to the core of making your business work for you.
All right, so welcome back. So let's talk first about who is this episode for. Well, it's really for everybody, because I know for a fact that almost everybody has gone through this at some point in their business career. Hey, I've tried everything and nothing's working. I've posted every day for 30 days and I've got 0 clients. I boosted a post and it flopped. Oh my God, really? Everyone says I need a funnel, but I don't even know what that means. Listen, if that's you, I got you. You're in the right place. So there's a couple of things that we're going to unpack during this episode. I'm going to talk a bit about the difference between marketing tactics and marketing strategy. And yeah, some of you are already going, yeah, I know that. And I'm going to tell you, well, you don't. We're going to talk about why so many businesses fall into that shiny object trap. And then I'm going to talk to you about how to build a foundation that actually brings in clients, right? You don't need to do 100 things, guys. You only have to do 1 or 2 things. So if you're ready, let's get into it. So let's start with some tough love. Sorry, but it's kind of how it is with me. I don't believe for 1 second that you have actually a marketing problem. I think that what you've got is more of a focus problem, right? Meaning that you're probably not following a plan. I'm thinking you're probably following 15 half-baked ideas that you got from YouTube or TikTok or whoever you bought that $27 course from that was promising you to get to 10 key months in like 30 days, right? That's kind of what you got. Don't get me wrong. The advice might not be bad on its own. But here's the problem. Advice without context, even good advice, can steer you in the completely wrong direction. What works for a $5 million e-commerce brand isn't going to work for your coaching or consulting business if you're doing $100,000 a year. Completely different places. What works when you've got a team of 5 is not what you need when you're doing everything on your own or by yourself. And honestly, that's how it happens, right? You try tactic after tactic. You got reels, you got blogs, you got ads, you got webinars, you got an email sequence, but none of it is sticking. And eventually you start to think, hey, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I know how that feels. Back in 2014, that was exactly where my head was. I think we should get out of this and do something else. Here's what the truth really is, though. You're starting or you are building all of this on the wrong foundation. Now, yeah, I get it. No one likes to talk about foundational stuff in a business. They like to talk about the sexy stuff. But the foundation is what makes the sexy stuff work. So what you've got to get into is understanding the big difference between a tactic and the strategy. And there's a big difference in this. tactics are the tools, right? So your tactics are those things like your Instagram, your email sequence, SEO blogs, Facebook ads, funnels, webinars, lead magnets. These are all tools. The strategy is the why behind the tools, right? This is the bigger picture stuff. It's the plan that says who you're trying to reach, what problem you're trying to solve, what message will make them stop and pay attention, what is the journey that person is on from stranger to client in your industry, and what's the one or two methods that you can do consistently, right? So think of this. If the tactics are the nails and the screws, strategy is the blueprint. Simple as that. So what I typically find is that most people are out there throwing nails at a wall, hoping they will stick, but they have no blueprint for it. Right? They've got no blueprint for anything. And so when that happens, when you find yourself in that space, that head space, one big thing tends to happen, right? And it's kind of where the shiny object syndrome shows up. And by the way, shiny object syndrome is real, and it is brutal. Again, I can testify to this. So how does it show up in your business? How can you recognize it? Well, here's what's going to happen. You might start a podcast, and then after 4 or 5 episodes, you're like, I'm done. You abandon it. Maybe you try cold DMs for a week, but then you stop. Or maybe you've bought a course, you do module 1, then you ghost it. Maybe you're building a funnel before you're ever talking to your ideal client about what they actually need. Maybe, right, this is James, maybe you redesign your website 3 times before you've even got an offer that sells. Here's the thing, it feels productive, but you're just doing stuff. Nothing that you're doing here is actually moving the needle. And the reason is really simple. It's because without strategy, tactics are just noise. That's all they are. Again, busy work doesn't actually do anything. Feels productive isn't actually doing anything. So you have to be able to recognize that in you and in your business. So what do we do instead, right? What's the way to get out of this? It's not sexy. I'm going to start by saying that. This is not sexy stuff, but it is absolutely essential, right? It's absolutely essential for you to go through this in order to make sure that your tactics actually do work when you start to implement them in your market. So I'm going to give you 5 things and take it or leave it. So here we go. Number 1, biggie. In fact, probably the single most important thing you can do in a business. Get crystal clear on your ideal client. Right? Who exactly are you trying to serve? And it's not anyone who needs my beep, whatever industry you are in. Right? You gotta get specific. You gotta get, actually, not even specific, hyper specific. What is their age, their business stage, their mindset, their challenges? Right? You cannot attract the right people with a generic message. Not going to happen. So you need to get hyper specific on this ideal client, right? Which leads into number 2. Clarify the one problem that you solve, right? Coming out there and saying, I help people thrive isn't solving a problem. It's incredibly vague. You got to make this really tangible. What is the pain they're feeling right now, and what's the outcome they're desperate for? Right? There's a saying out there, and I don't know who it was that said this, but it goes along the lines of, when you can articulate your ideal client's problem better than they can, they will automatically and subconsciously attribute you with having the answer. You gotta understand the one big problem. What is the thing that's keeping them up at night? So that's number 2. Number 3, build a simple, irresistible offer. Right? So don't worry about funnels or automation. Make sure your offer is incredibly clear, hyper-specific, and then positioned as the obvious choice for your ideal client and the problem that they have. What is the litmus test? The litmus test is really simple. Can you explain it in 30 seconds without any jargon? If you cannot, then you do not have a simple, irresistible offer. So you got to go work on that. Number 4, pick one primary marketing channel. Right? What I mean by that is this. Choose one lead gen method and then commit to it. Right? It could be, host a monthly webinar. Maybe weekly LinkedIn posts or articles. Maybe you focus on referrals and warm outreach. Maybe you speak locally or virtually, which is the one that we picked. That's where the vast majority of our business comes from. Right? We speak locally, we run workshops, and we do webinars. That's it. That's all we do. Now, we promote them through LinkedIn and Facebook and yada, yada, yada. Right? But that thing, that lead gen method, that's our primary marketing channel. So figure out for you what that looks like and then commit to it. Number 5, track it, tweak it, and then repeat it. You got to understand what is it that's working and what isn't. I'm going to tell you, you do not need to get into complex analytics, but you got to measure shit, right? You got to figure out, is this really working? Is it actually getting the result? Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to keep guessing, you're going to keep running the wrong thing, and you're going to get burnt out. So, wrap up, right? Wrap this up. I don't believe you're broken. I don't believe you're bad at business, although you might be, right? But I don't believe that is the truth. I do believe that you're overwhelmed by noise. You do not need more marketing tactics. You need a plan that fits your stage of business, your capacity, your goals. Nobody else's, yours. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Compare yourself to yourself. This is what I'm trying to get to. If you have felt burned by bad advice before, welcome to the club. We've all been there. We've all gone through it. Here's the thing. You don't have to stay there, right? Start with the foundation. Keep it really simple. Focus on progress, not perfection. Yeah, I get it. You hear all this stuff before. But there's a reason why we say this. It's because it just works, right? Make progress. Don't look for perfection. Just keep moving forward. Now listen, if you want help building a real client acquisition system, one that, actually does work, then reach out. You can get to us by email or you can DM us or whatever. We have literally helped hundreds of small businesses to get off this goddamn hamster wheel and start growing their business on their terms. So the links will be in the notes. Check them out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully this has been useful. And just remember, the goal isn't just more visibility. It's about visibility that converts. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I will see you next time.